been in existence for 20 years so far, the company Earthful is always evolving. Its artistic directors, Jessica Cohen and Jim Ennis, say they want to collaborate with specialists and ologists you wouldn't normally associate with performance. Ecologists, futurologists, psychologists, philosophers, street and visual artists, Butoh masters, dancers of the absurd and the extreme to voice and body researchers, all are welcome to bring their ideas and practices to help create the next show. This is performance where challenging subject matter forms a central theme, explored and expressed through music and dance, where the group deals with topical issues like the loss of liberty and love in a war zone, or what can be the self-destructive nature of life on the road. Dancer musicians Beth Pousland and Laura Ward are working with artistic director Jim Ennis on their newest show, Gig, about an 80s rock band, a show that evokes strong emotions from the audience with few words.
I think I'd probably call it physical theatre really, but it's got a little bit of everything in it. It's got live music and dance, but we're also performers, and so there's a certain amount of acting involved, but not straight acting as such. And all of us dancers play instruments as well, which has kind of come out of the process.
Gig is about art imitating life, where in a sense the company has become the gigging band it portrays, says Beth.
Gig is the story of a band on tour, their relationships, the surreal world that they find themselves in, relationships journeyed, love stories, falling out stories, drugs, overdoses.
Mother, wipe this dirt from my hands. Only you can heal this wound.
A lot of research goes into the creation of a show like Gig, says Jim.
We research it for months, even years. We look at film, we listen to music, we write down ideas, we look at poetry, we read literature. We assimilate all that material, we come together as a company, then we have loads of movement ideas which we improvise until we set choreographically, and we all work on that and contribute to that together. All this is done through improvisation.
Earthful has been invited to a rock club in Liverpool to perform and will adapt to that space as always, since they've performed in a series of challenging settings across Europe, like Haarlem Cathedral in northern Holland.
We've performed on 4.5 tons of coal in a stock exchange, we've performed in cathedrals, we've performed in factories, performed all over Europe and the world. Generally it's issue-based work we deal with. The last piece was about Guantanamo, really. Pieces before that have involved the crisis in former Yugoslavia, for example. Choreopolitic, body and politics we're interested in.
They've also performed in the former Yugoslavia, a performance that reflected the reality around them. Jim Ennis again.
In 1994, Earthful did a piece called I and I, which was basically about the true story of two lovers. They were both from different factions and religions, and they were shot in no man's land whilst just trying to get out of the city by unknown snipers. And there's a physical depiction and footage of them crawling towards each other and touching each other's fingers, their hands, and they die. And we thought this was a real strong choreographic proposition. We integrated this whole idea of love in a war-torn society, finding this moment of hope, although it ended tragically. And it was invited to a festival in Ljubljana in 1994. We performed to sell out massive audiences while the war was still raging just 50 kilometres up the road.
This show, it's about a band on tour, and so we're playing clarinet, we're singing, we're performing, dancing, doing contact work, it's all in there.
It's not a spoof, but it is about, really for us, an integration of really full-on physical movement with full-on music, and then integrating images, film, into it, because that's what Earthful was about, to create high impact for audiences.
The sheer versatility of the performers is part of the joy, seeing them seg effortlessly between acrobatic dance movements into playing a saxophone or guitar, then doing a stand-up with gusto or finesse, No wonder Britain's Guardian newspaper has called the group a 21st century phenomenon. For Network Europe Extra, this is Alice Moss with Earthfall, who now take their physical theatre to the University City of Cambridge in Eastern England.